Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give our honor and glory to Yahweh Shabbat. So we at the closing of the Shabbat, man. Lord willing, brothers and sisters, had a mighty, mighty, mighty Sabbath through the Spirit, right? And so we going through this class, right? A parable on the penny, right? We going into it, right? So we go ahead and jump into this thing, right? So let me go ahead and share my screen. Get that set up, and we're going to jump right into this joint. Here we go, right? It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which he went out early in the morning to hire laborers, right, into his vineyard." Right. So it says the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out into the early morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. Because we gotta labor, right? When it comes to getting to the kingdom, right? We have to labor to get there. It's work that we have to put in to get to the kingdom. So when we're going off red, it says it's referring to a vineyard. So you gotta imagine a vineyard, right? Which would be a place where they have vines, you know what I'm saying, where they have grapes and things like that. It's people that gotta tend these fields, right? They might have to clip the vines, right? They might have to water the vines, they might have to plant some seeds here, they might have to remove a couple vines that weren't really growing that well, right? So it's work to put in when it comes to this kingdom, right? We're gonna keep going. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny, right, a day, he sent them into his vineyard. So that's all. And what is the penny? The penny is the kingdom. That's all our reward, right? The work that we putting in is for the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So you got to ask yourself, right? What reward you looking for? What are you looking for in this thing? Are you in this truth for your reward to be something vain or something folly, or is it to be vainglory? Is it for attention, or is it for what? Or what is it just for the kingdom, right? The kingdom is the penny, right? It says, and he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way, right? And that's kind of, let's see what it says. And again, he went out about the 6th hour, right, and 9th hour, and did likewise, right? And that's kind of too how the Lord has been doing. He's been bringing people in. Let me go to this precept right quick. Let me get this precept. Cause when Yahweh, when he was going to the 12, that's what he was doing. He was going, snatching them up. Hey man, hey, I'll make you fishers of men. I'll do this, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? And what the disciples did, they went straight away and did it. Right? Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. For some reason, Esau got this I don't know what this is right here. It's madness. Okay. Oh, let's go to it. So let's go to Matthew chapter 4. Right? Matthew chapter 4. And we're going to show you how Shaji. It's kind of the same kind of thing. Right? We're going to Matthew chapter 4. And we're going to start at verse 19. It says, And Yahweh walking by the Sea of Galilee saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. Right? And he said unto them, Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Right? And it says, and they straightway left their nets and followed him. Right? And it says, and going on from thence, he saw others. So just like how the third hour of the Lord, he went out, right? The 6th hour, the Lord went out, right? So the Lord is constantly going out, calling out to his people, calling out to the elect, right? Right? And that's why he also got the men in the highways and byways, right? Out there out there on the highways and byways, right? Calling out to his people, because the men are out there to labor to wake up the elect, right? We moving in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. He's using us to cause his people, calling people to the vineyard, right? Right, and calling people to the Lord. Right, let me get this precept in the book of Proverbs. Because you got two type of people. You got some people that's going to hear the call, right, and people that's going to refuse the call. And obviously those people that refuse the call, right, it's not for them, right? Let me get this precept. It says, It says, this Proverbs 1:20. It says, wisdom crieth out. She uttered her voice in the streets. Let's go back to what we just had in Matthew. Right? It says, he went to the let's go to Matthew chapter 20 and verse 3. It says, and he went out about the third hour, right? He saw others standing idle in the marketplace. The marketplace, that would be a chief place of concourse. You're gonna have a lot of people running to and fro in the marketplace. Some people come to get some I don't know, some fish here or some dress or whatever merchandise they might need, some oil, some myrrh, some whatever, some palms, whatever, right? Some flour, right? Whatever, right? It's a chief place of concourse, right? And a lot of times we look at it through the spirit. The men of the Lord, we're set out in the chief place of concourse, right? And it said unto them, go ye also, right? Let's go back, let's jump down to it said, and then that time when it says idle, that's the time when these people, they weren't putting in no work, right? That's the time where they was being wicked, just being in the world, right? Because they was idle, doing nothing, right? Because when you're idle, you're not doing nothing profitable. So we was at a time when we was out this truth. That's the time when we're doing the most unprofitable in our whole entire life, right? But when the Lord calls us to labor, calls us to come to the vineyard, that's when we start putting in that work that's profitable, right? That's profitable for everlasting life, right? So, anyways, so as we see, the Lord, he has a habit to calling out to his people. He has a habit of doing that, right? Just like how Yahweh he called out to the 12, right? You're on the Lord here in this parable, he's calling out to the laborers, right? Come work in my vineyard. Just like how you got brothers now out on the highways and byways now, right? Moving in that same spirit, calling out to the people to come labor, to come follow us, to follow the Lord, right? To come labor with us to serve the Lord, right? So anyways, right? Let's go back. Let's keep on reading. It says, and then about the 11th hour, we have Matthew 20 and verse 6. It says, and about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing idle and said unto them, why stand ye here all the day idle? Why sit here and do nothing? Why sit here and be in this world, right? Why sit here and live like the heathen? Because that's what you're doing when you're being idle. You're doing nothing that's unprofitable. Because we know what idle is, man. All right, let's get a precept on this, right? Let's get some precepts on this idleness, man. All right, it's let me get a couple precepts. All right, I want to get to it says, let's go to Sirach chapter 33 verse 27. It says, send him to labor that he be not idle, for idleness teacheth much evil. So in the time of your idleness and your slothfulness is the time of your wickedness, the time where you're going off, the time that you're living unprofitable towards the Lord, right? You being that sluggard, right? Get another precept, right? Go back. Let me get another precept on that joint. On being idle. Now I'm gonna get this precept right here. In Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 15, right? It says, slothfulness cast into deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. So when you slothful, man, you ain't nothing but asleep, right? So when the Lord is calling out these people to the labor, he's waking them up. He's waking them up from slothfulness, right? And so that's also what we tell our people too. What do we tell our people on the highways and byways, right? If you're a teacher, you know what I'm saying, if you go out and teach, we tell our people that now is time, a high time to wake up out of sleep, right? Wake up, right? The Lord is waking these people up. Wake up and come labor, right? For me, right? Let me get that in Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And let me hold on. Let me get this, put something down so I can use my mouse, man. I don't like doing this touch screen. Use my mouse. Bear with me. Put this mouse up real fast. Slovakia. Connor. All right, so there we go. Slovakia about that. So boom. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is salvation nearer than we believe. So just like how it says right here, right? It says slothfulness casts into deep sleep. So that moment where you're slothful, right? You're not really being sincere, you're not really being diligent, you sleep. You sleep, right? And a lot of us, that's the time was being without the truth, right? We sleep. In the world, you sleep. You sleep, right? And it says, an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Because when you in this truth, you're laboring. You got the labor. What is the labor? The labor is putting our works, right? As in keeping the commandments, you know what I'm saying? Being repentant, being sincere, being diligent, keeping a high holiday. It's work, right? It's work that you got to put in, right? Let's get this right quick. In the book of come on now, man. It's acting real messed up right now. Dang, mouse act like it don't want to work. Okay, there we go. Gosh, Satan, man. Satan. So I want to get this precept right here in Revelation. Right? Get this Revelation. Because the Lord say, man, every man gonna be go to his works, right? Let's go here. It's Revelation chapter 22 and verse 12. It says, and behold, I come quickly. My reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Right? So Lord say he's going to reward every man according to his work. So what kind of work really are you putting in? Right? What kind of work are you really putting in this thing? Right? So boom. And by your work, that's what you're going to be rewarded for. Just like how in the parable that we're going into, right? This work is putting in the work in the vineyard, right? And your reward is the penny, right? Let's go back. All right. And this let's go back to what we was reading. Right. It was at Matthew chapter 20. And I was at let me read that verse 7 now. It says, they say unto him, because no man hath hired us, right? He said unto them, go ye also unto the vineyard, right? He said no man has hired us. Ain't nobody called us. Right? Well, now you've been called. Right? Now you've been called. Right? You've been called. It says, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard said unto his steward, right? Call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last until the first. Right? So it says start off with the last person, right? Because now you got think about this parable, right? It started off in the early day, right? But as time goes on, the Lord, he's constantly calling people to the vineyard. He's constantly calling to the vineyard. That's just like this truth, right? This truth is like a day, a span of a day, right? When I understand what I'm saying, as in, you might got some people that been in this truth 40 years, 30 years. Them the people that start coming in the vineyard the beginning of the daytime, right? You got some people that's in the truth that start to come in, that they ain't been in the truth for 10, 20 months, right? I mean, 10, 15 months, or 2 months, 2 weeks. Those are people that'll be the ones that came in later in the day, right? So you still have people that come in before, but they still receive the same reward as the people that come later. They all get a reward because the agreed upon thing was what? The penny. Verse 20, right? It says, and when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his labor. That was the thing. Come labor me, you get a penny a day. Come labor me. Don't matter you labor. You was there 10 years and it's a penny a day. It matter if you came in the thing 10 minutes. You might have worked 10 minutes. Still get that penny. And that's just like in this truth. You know what I'm saying? You got people that has been laboring for decades, but they still get that same penny or the kingdom as one that was been in 20 years. I mean 10 minutes. 2 days, right? Or whatever that may be. Right? And that's the thing of this truth. So it's not all about, you know what I'm saying, even though length is good, but we all get the same reward at the end of the day. Definitely not saying like, all praise to those brothers that's vetted in this truth, you know what I'm saying, that really been in this thing for decades and still holding down. All praise the Most High for those brothers, and all praise the Most High to put those brothers' spirits to keep going and keep striving for this truth for so long. You know what I'm saying? But just understand this too, you know what I'm saying, for those that have not been as long, you still get the same reward. If you're sincere, if you're diligent, right? So it says to them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again, he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle. So like that's not where I'm at. All right, let's jump down. We at verse 9. Salakia. Matthew 29. It says, and when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. Right? So you're gonna have those ones that, hey, boy, they might be in two weeks. But that whole 2 weeks going hard. They went hard. They went hard. And it reminds me of this story of the 40 martyrs of Shabbat. And I'm gonna do a class on that, Lord willing. But it's a class, it's a thing called 40 martyrs of Shabbat. And one of the dudes, I talked about this previously on one of my lives, but the one of the dudes that was a martyr, he ended up leaving. You know what I'm saying? He ended up leaving, so he ended up basically folding for the heathen. He ended up folding, right? Denouncing the Lord. But one of the guards that was these martyrs, they was Israelites, right? One of the guards that seen this happen, right? He seen how mighty these brothers was that was already martyrs, right? And he came in, right? And you had that one dude that left, and he came in, right? And he ended up, boom, you know what I'm saying, stripping off his clothes, right? Because that's what happened to 40 martyrs of Shabbat. The heathens, right? I think it was Esau. They forced brothers to because they wouldn't announce the Lord. He forced them to go, and it's just how these devils work. But anyways, he forced the brothers to go butt naked and stand on a frozen lake. So this guard, he seen it happen. He ended up seeing how mighty these men were, and he ended up choosing to he converted to serving the Lord. right? He seen how these men was manfully dying for Lord, and he ended up joining them. That's what happened. He was a guard, and he ended up joining them as well and dying for the Lord, right? And we know that if anybody dies for the Lord, right, they receive that crown of life. We know that, right? Let's get that. Just to not to go too deep into it, but just so brothers, hey man, you die for the Lord, man, hey. But that's what he did. He wasn't out there as long as the rest of those brothers was. You know what I'm saying? But he still get the same thing. They was the brothers out there for a good little minute. But at last minute, he said, "Hey, I want to come. I want to join y'all." Right? And so, hey, we all get the same. It says, this Revelation 2:10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and ye shall receive tribulation 10 days. But be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." So Lord said, "Be thou faithful unto death, and he will give you a crown of life." Right? And so this man, he ended up at the last minute, he started having faith in Yahweh Shemel, and he decided to give his life. So the point is, you had people that was already on this ice for so much dispensation of time. But at the last end, he decided to come in too, right? And boom, he died for the Lord. Boom, he would see the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I mentioned that, right? So you can kind of understand that, in this walk, you're going to have people that's been in, you know what I'm saying, years and years and years, and some people that ain't been in that long. But you know what I'm saying? We're all working for the same penny. We all working for the same penny, which is the kingdom. We all working for the same thing, right? And it says, go back to Matthew chapter 20 and verse 10. It says, who else like it? Okay. It says, "And they that have received it, they murmured against the good man of the house." Right? So you have some people that kind of feeling some type of way, saying, "These lads have wrought but 1 hour. They only work but 1 hour. And thou hast made them equal unto us, right? Which have borne the burden of the heat of the day." Because you have some people they probably been in this truth, man. They done been through the crack era. They done been through the era of the beginning of hip hop, where all kind of where the gangs start coming in, all kind of manner of folliness and bull crap. Where they done been through the early 2000s era, where this happened and that happened. They done probably went through this kind of affliction. They done probably went through poverty. They done probably went through they lost jobs. They done did this. They done lost friends, family. I mean, they just been in it. They've been in the heat. They've been in the fire. They've been through the flames, right? They went through it and they endured. And you got somebody that came in at last minute. They ain't really been through nothing, but they was faithful unto death, though. They was faithful until that time that Lord called. You know what I'm saying? Until the end, until Yahweh shall come back. They was faithful until that point. Until it was time to receive the reward, they was faithful until that point, right? So you got some people. You might be in this thing, man, and that's a beautiful thing, right? That you've been in this thing, right? But you got to remember too that we know in the law will tell you that the Lord don't have no respect of persons. You always got to remember that. Let's get that. And so these men, they kind of forgot that, like, hey, the Lord don't have respect of person, man. Oh, it's not respect. Let me see. Leviticus. Bear with me if I find trees up. All right, this is the priest I do want to get. It says, ye shall And the law says, Lord tells us we don't have no respect the person. Ye shall do no righteousness in judgment. Thou shalt and not respect the person, the poor, nor the honor of the person of the mighty. Right, but in righteousness shalt thou judge the neighbor. But the point I want to bring this out is that the Lord, He don't have no respect of persons. Right, the Lord doesn't have no respect of persons. So you might have been in this thing, you know what I'm saying, for decades, but at the end of the day, you know, the Lord sees us all as servants. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying. So that's a big humbling thing that you got, that our people we gotta realize that the Lord, he all see us just as servants in this thing, right? We all just servants at the end of the day in this thing. So let me see this precept. Let me look at this real fast. This precept, I'm just gonna get another one. Yeah, this is what a precept I'm gonna get to right here. It says, this Romans 2:11, for there is no respect of persons with God. Right there. You see, there's no respect of persons with God. So we all receive it. We all receive the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You have a servant that came in, he been serving you 20 years. You got a servant that came in, he been serving you 2 weeks. They still my servants. Right? No respect of persons. You know. Okay, so we going back to Matthew chapter 20 and verse 12. Right? So it says, saying, These last have wrought, but worked. I'm say worked, so we can kind of, you know what I'm saying. Well, 1 hour, thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden of the heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, do I do thee no wrong? Right? Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? So you gotta think about it. The Lord ain't do nothing wrong. He said, "Hey, you said at the agreement of this thing, we said a penny." You know what I'm saying? Same thing with us. Hey, he said the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? It's kingdom. Penny, a day, kingdom, a moment. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. And this all is all a day. Right? It's all a day. And that's why it made me think about this too. It made me think about this precept too. How the time of laboring, right? And I'm not gonna go too deep in this too. I'm gonna go back to Romans chapter 13 though, real fast. Because it talks about it too. Like it's a day. It says, and now knowing, Romans 13:11, it says, now knowing that it's time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we'll believe. So now we're gonna look at it in the spirit and retrospect of this parable. Now is the time to receive that reward that's near. Right? Let's associate the time of salvation as the time of receiving the penny, the reward. That time is nearing. That time is coming to a point very soon. We don't know when, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give you exact time or exact date, but we know that it's soon, right? And it says the night is far spent, like we were just talking about, like he just said that, hey, well, you know, it was talking about a day, a penny for a day, right? And it says the day is at hand, right? So boom. Let's go back. Just want to kind of bring it out, like how it refers to it. Like it says, the night is far spent. It says the day is at hand. Just like when it's saying the night, as in the time of darkness, and we know because in the day that's when Yahweh shall come, right? But the point, like I said again, you know, they referring to it as a day. But I just want to kind of bring that precept out, right? But anyways, it says, take Matthew, back at Matthew chapter 20 and verse 14. It says, take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? Because at the end of the day, we are the creations. You know what I'm saying? We are the creations. We not the creator. We are nothing but vessels. So whatever the Lord want to do with his vessels, he have that right to do with it. Just like what he mentioned in Romans. So the Lord do whatever with it. If he want to put a vessel, he would do whatever we want to do with it. I just say that he would do whatever we want to do with the vessel. We know that. All right, he is the creator. The creator has the ability to do what he wants to. Like my dad, he like to say this. A plate can't say, well, I want to be a cup. A cup can't say, well, hey, you know what, man? All my life I just been a cup, holding drinks every day, and now I just want to choose to be a plate. It don't work like that. Whatever the Lord has molded you to be and created you to be, that's what you're gonna be, and that's what you're gonna get. If the Lord want to take a plate and he want to break it, he can do it. Because he's the creator. He can do that. He's the potter. So whatever the Lord give unto you, you got to deal with it. Says, so the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. So many is called in this thing, man. It said the first last. There's gonna be a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? And for example, don't quote me on this, you know what I'm saying? But think about this, you know what I'm saying? You might have elders that was, that back when we had the beginning of One West, you know what I'm saying? All these elders that you got going on now, these elders that have been in 30, 40 years, these very men, right? It said the last shall be first, and the first last. Right? So these very men, they very well be the last, the last. Just like how the scriptures say, Yahweh Shai is bringing out this parable. Right? You know what I'm talking about, these men of renown in Israel that we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Your Nathaniels, your Johannas, and so forth and so forth and so forth, or whatever. These men could very well be, you know what I'm saying, the last according to scripture. And you have a man that just coming in this thing in their congregation, right? And he would be, you know what I'm saying, before them, he would be first, right? So that's how you gotta look at it, man. You're gonna have men that gonna come in this late. They might be the reader. They might not be the leader, but they might be the reader in the camp, and he gonna be first over the one that was the leader, the top dog. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just how it is, and that's what the scripture said. I ain't say that, But a lot of the brothers gotta be humble in this thing. You can't say, well, hey, I started it all, so I deserve to be first. That ain't what the scriptures say. That ain't what the scripture say. It says, "So last shall be first, and the first last." That's what it say, right? But the point is, at the end of the day, we all just receive nothing but a penny. You know what I'm saying? We all receive a penny. We all just trying to get that penny. We all just trying to get the penny. You know what I'm saying? So strive, do what you gotta do to get your penny. Right? Let me get this precept. Let me get this right quick. In Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as we have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So at the end of the day, you got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Work for your penny. Work for your penny. You know what I mean? Let me see what's some more on that. That was it on that. Right. So again, man, work for your penny though. You know what I mean? We all get the same thing at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Stay humble, stay meek in this thing. And Lord willing, that was edifying. But want to give all honor and glory to you. How about Shalom, Shalom.